Ladies and gentlemen, would you please turn your attention to the center of the floor as we welcome Alma Mexicana.
with a quick prayer real quick. You can bow your heads with us real quick. Dear Lord, I'd just like to thank you for allowing everyone to arrive here safely, and I pray for safe travels home later tonight as well. Thank you for all the people who could attend tonight. These people were willing to generously donate and take time out of their busy schedules to come out here and support a great cause. I pray for all of those who have been affected by cancer of all kinds. I pray that you'll bring peace and healing to those families and be with them as they fight this difficult battle. I know that with all the continued support, we'll be able to find a cure for cancer someday. Thank you. Amen.
I would like to start off by saying thank you to everyone, friends, family, loved ones for being here tonight. I'm Melissa Tamir, president of Project Pink Pink.
And I'm Cecily Mohammed, co-founder of Project Pink Pink, and I would like to welcome everybody to our third annual Gala and program. And as Jay-Z once quoted, you could all be somewhere else with so many other people, but you're here with us today. Project Pink Pink was co-founded by me and my sister and great friend of mine, Mia Ratliff. We were little girls in 6th grade that wanted to make a change in the world one project at a time. It all started at Taylor Road Middle School. We turned the entire school pink. We held annual school-wide pink outs and sold pink donuts in the mornings. This movement made me the young woman I am today. I witnessed the strength it takes to be a pre-driver like Miss Debbie Lesser. Coach Shrine, you will never understand in this lifetime how much your belief in me enough to put me on the field on Friday nights to kick for a cure means to me. I cannot ask for better cheerleaders than Daisy, Grant, and Kayla. To my best girlfriends, Elena, Jessie, and Danielle, you guys always put a smile on my face, even when I was down. Thank you, Andrew Thomas, for always picking me up and supporting me at football whenever I needed it. Thank you, Justice Sales, for treating me like a sister and picking on me all the time. Thank you, Scott, Harrison, and Julia, and Mikey, for showing me family is everything. I love you guys so much. And thank you to my mom for supporting me since 1999. I love you long time.
Again, thank you everyone for being here. We're all gathered tonight to raise awareness and support for breast cancer. So when I was younger, I would always remember my mom talk about her mammograms and like how painful and uncomfortable they were. And through joining Project Pink Pink, I've learned many things. The most important thing being that women of every age, including teens like myself, should educate themselves about their own bodies and know what to look out for. Girls, we need to check ourselves to protect ourselves. And last but not least, before I go, I would like to mention that the auction tables are still open and donations are still available.
I'd like to start off by saying how impressed I am at how amazing this event is and how festive it just the past 3 years. I know you've done it this is the third one, right? Yeah. So 3 years in a row. This is just, it grows every year and it's an amazing event. So thank you to Cecily and to Melissa for putting on, and everyone else for putting on such an amazing event. I'm a little nervous. I have everything written down, so I'm going to be reading quite a bit here. I really appreciate the personal interest you all have taken in raising awareness and funding for a cause that's so important as breast cancer research. I need to be honest with everyone. I was a little nervous about speaking tonight. I struggled with accepting the request to speak tonight because I'm not a breast cancer survivor. I've never had breast cancer, and no one that I'm aware of in my family has ever had breast cancer. The closest I've ever gotten to anything of concern was one abnormal mammogram once, where I was required to follow up with a needle biopsy, and that was really scary and absolutely no fun. Honestly, I'm just a woman who happened to, by accident, find out that I have the breast cancer gene mutation, BRCA, or more commonly called BRCA. It's the gene that became a household name when Angelina Jolie said that she had the mutation. Basically, this means that my risk for getting breast and ovarian cancer is really high. So I decided to have some body parts removed before they tried to kill me. Actually, I'm in a club called Pre-Biters. People in this group are lucky enough to find out that they have a higher than normal risk of getting cancer and have made the tough decision to do something about it. This group hasn't been around very long because the breast cancer gene was just discovered about 35 years ago. It's only recently that women have been given the opportunity to make these difficult choices. What choices? Well, I'm really glad you asked. I had the same question. So here's a fun fact. Everyone on the planet has the BRCA gene, both men and women. There's a BRCA1 and BRCA2, you know, like thing 1 and thing 2. If you get a good copy from mom and a good copy from dad, then these are cancer-fighting genes. If you happen to get a bad copy from one parent, then these are cancer-causing genes. So when someone says, I tested positive for the BRCA gene, what they really mean is, I'm positive for the gene mutation. So what does that mean? Well, I have the BRCA1 mutation, so I'm going to focus only on that one for tonight. Here's a few quick statistics. The average woman has a 1% chance of getting ovarian cancer in her lifetime. Someone with the BRCA1 mutation is 40 times more likely to get ovarian cancer. The average woman has about a 12% chance of lifetime risk of getting breast cancer. That's 1 out of every 8 women, which is still high, in my opinion. But to put it another way, 7 out of 8 women will not get breast cancer, whereas someone with the BRCA1 mutation, like me, is the opposite. 7 out of every 8 women with the mutation will get breast cancer in their lifetime. And it's not just the cancer that's associated with BRCA1, but that particular cancer typically is what's called triple negative, which means that it's much more aggressive and more resistant to treatment. So look at it this way. If you knew that there was a 12% chance of getting in a plane crash, would you get on the plane? What if there was an 87% chance? When you know you have the gene mutation, you're armed with knowledge. That knowledge allows you to seek counsel and make appropriate choices. This is really powerful. You're already sitting on the plane, so now you have some serious decisions to make. You've really only got 3 choices. Option number 1, how many of you would act as if you didn't know anything about the statistics of your plane and continue your trip as planned without another thought about it? This really is an option. And some people choose to go this route. Option number 2, how many of you would stay on the plane and keep checking your surroundings to make sure you don't crash? Remember, if it suddenly looks like you're about to crash, you may or may not have enough time to avoid the crash, but you won't know until you're in that situation. Option number 3 is to get the heck off the plane with a parachute. I actually chose option number 2 for a few years, ultimately before choosing option number 3. So here's my story. I work as a medical sign language interpreter, and I attend medical trainings to improve my skills for work. And in the summer of 2013, I attended a lecture given by a genetics counselor and was absolutely fascinated. She told me about a website called 23andMe where I could send away for my own at-home DNA test. Sounds cool, right? Being the total nerd that I am, I got really excited. I said it sounds cool, but I didn't hear cheers, so. But I'm a total nerd. I got really excited and decided to do my own DNA test to find out if my parents were right about my ancestry. And when I'm a nerd, I'm so serious. I also ordered a kit for my husband, and I adopted my dogs from the Humane Society, so I decided to get them DNA tested too. Anyway, sure enough, my parents were right. I'm from Eastern Europe. I'm Russian, Polish, Ukrainian, and now I have this additional piece of unexpected information. I'm positive for the BRCA1 mutation. After getting these results, I went to my breast care specialist to discuss these findings, and she recommended that I meet with a genetics counselor. The counselor said it would be a good idea to get a second test just to confirm the first. Both my parents are of Ashkenazi Jewish descent, meaning they're from Eastern Europe, and my paternal grandfather passed away from pancreatic cancer, which is linked to BRCA1. This put me in a high-risk group. I want to point out something. The reason why genetic testing is so powerful is because the likelihood of developing different diseases varies with different ethnic groups. Once you know your ethnic background, you can determine if you're at high risk for certain illnesses. The Ashkenazi Jewish population is a high-risk group for breast and ovarian cancer. 1 in 40 people in this group is BRCA mutation positive, compared to 1 in 400 in the general population. My insurance wouldn't cover the second test because even though I'm in a high-risk group, no one in my family had breast or ovarian cancer, so I paid for the expensive test myself, and I got the results back a few weeks later confirming that I really do have the mutation. So now I needed to decide whether I was going to ignore the information, survey my surroundings, or get off the plane. Breast and ovarian cancer survivors and previvors have a few things in common. Many of us undergo radical surgeries and reconstruction, often taking months and sometimes years to fully recover. Or we take medications to prevent cancer like estrogen inhibitors, which have horrible long-lasting side effects. Our femininity is shaken to the core and we're left trying to redefine ourselves from the inside out. We turn to others who have been through these same things before us. We hope and pray that more research is done to improve treatments and surgical options. There are also 2 major differences between cancer survivors and cancer previvors. I was fortunate enough to not have to experience chemo and radiation and all the nastiness that goes along with killing both good and bad cells in your body. And here's the major difference. I had a choice. I had options. I could ignore what I learned and hope that I'd never get cancer, or I could survey my surroundings, meaning get mammograms alternating with MRIs every 6 months, then wait on bated breath for the results, only to feel like a ticking time bomb for the next few months until it's time to start the process all over again. Or get off the plane, meaning get my perfectly healthy body parts removed on a statistically high chance that I would eventually get cancer. Making that choice was the hardest decision I think I've ever made. To be honest, I still find myself second-guessing my decisions sometimes. My wonderful and supportive husband, Mark, had a great explanation which helps me when I'm second-guessing myself. He told me to think of the parts of my body which are at high risk due to the BRCA mutation, like a gas can in a garage. Some people have an empty garage. I have candles lit and an oxygen tank in the corner. So oxygen plus open flames plus gas equals huge explosion. Why wait until the garage blows up to get rid of the gas can? Just get rid of it before the garage blows up. Ask anyone who has had a blown up garage if they had the chance to get rid of the gas can. Absolutely they would have. Having a hysterectomy was a fairly easy decision for me. I was 46 in 2014 and I educated myself. Ovarian cancer is very hard to catch early. It typically starts in your fallopian tubes. And once it's in your ovaries, it's metastasized, which means that it's already spread. There's a 70% mortality rate for women with ovarian cancer, which means most women who get ovarian cancer die from it. I already had 2 phenomenal children who are here with me tonight, Jillian and Allison. Hi. I knew I wasn't going to have any more children, so it was sort of a no-brainer. I had the choice of getting just my ovaries and fallopian tubes removed, which is called a salpingo-oophorectomy, or having a complete hysterectomy. Either way, I'd be going into instant early menopause, which honestly scared me more than cancer because I knew for sure that was going to happen. I opted for a complete hysterectomy because I knew if I didn't get a mastectomy, if I didn't get a mastectomy and I wanted to continue getting surveillance, and then I eventually got cancer, the medications used to treat the breast cancer might eventually cause cancers in my uterus or cervix. So I figured it's best to get them all removed. My surgeon explained it to me like this. Keeping your cervix and your uterus when your ovaries are gone is like keeping an oven without the electrical cords. It's just an empty box that can't really do much. It's not really the most sensitive explanation, but she had a really good point. So I was surprised that after my hysterectomy, I experienced a lot of sadness. And even though I knew I made the right decision, I knew I didn't want to get pregnant again. I think it was tough because I knew that I was no longer capable of carrying children. It might be something you could compare to playing a sport and then needing some surgery that would enable you to keep walking. But you'd never play that sport again. You have to grieve that loss. And I still think that I'm grieving that loss. So after my hysterectomy, I saw a doctor who prescribed an estrogen patch to keep menopausal symptoms to a minimum, but even that required my body to shift gears quickly. And truth be told, even with the hormone patch, my kids and my husband can attest that I still experience mood swings. Sometimes it's crazy town in our house. I waited about 2 more years before the mastectomy conversation came up again. I went for one of my 6-month surveillance exams, and the breast specialist said the estrogen patch was probably increasing my risk of getting breast cancer, which I already knew, but having ridiculous temper tantrums was much more important than getting cancer at the time. And when she said this, it wasn't if I got cancer, but when. So my choice was, do I want a mastectomy with a side of chemo or not? After that conversation, I went back to doing research. And remember when I said I'm a nerd? I really mean it. My friends don't bother doing research because they know that I've already done it for them, most likely. Of course, I Googled it, and then I had a consult with another breast care specialist, and then 3 consults with other doctors, a consult with a breast care educator from Northside Hospital, lots of conversations with breast cancer survivors and other women with the BRCA mutation, and of course I talked to my friends about it for weeks. After all that, it was unanimous. It would be foolish to not get a mastectomy. Again, ask any survivor if they could go back and have preventative surgery to avoid getting cancer. Would they do it? Ask people in this room. Yes. Yes, they would. So this past June, I had an 8-hour preventative double mastectomy and reconstruction. I was very lucky to be able to go direct to implants and skip the skin expanders. Those are horribly painful. A couple of people have made comments like, hey, at least you got a boob job out of it. But I have an analogy for that one too. Think of that like a reconstruction on a house. A boob job is like a home remodel. It typically takes a short amount of time and you improve upon what you already have. It disrupts your life briefly, but people are excited about doing it. Having a preventative bilateral mastectomy is like choosing to evacuate your home due to a dangerous wildfire headed your way. You end up losing your home. This is perfect timing for that siren, don't you think? You end up losing your home from the ground up using completely different materials. It might be similar to the house you lost, but it doesn't look or feel the same. You're thankful to have escaped with your life, and you have your memories, but you miss everything about what was lost. Rebuilding takes a very long time, and it takes a big emotional toll felt for years to come. And I know I said that that applies to people who have had a preventative mastectomy, but it really applies to people who have had a mastectomy at all. And like any major surgery, there can also be complications. With mine, less than a month after my major surgery, I ended up with an infection in one of my breasts. I called my doctor on a Saturday night. He met me in his office on Sunday morning, and I was scheduled for surgery on Monday. He's a phenomenal doctor. This surgery left me with anesthesia fog for a couple months. I still forget things if I don't write them down. Ask my kids. I forget my head if it wasn't attached. After this, that was back in the middle of June, and now I'm on to my 3rd surgery, which will be to finish the reconstruction process, and that's scheduled for mid-December. Life is really unpredictable. We don't know what the person next to us has suffered through, and this includes all ages, or what you might suffer through in the future. Everyone in this room, we are all survivors. You have your struggles, she has her struggles, we all have our struggles. And we need to remember to support one another by coming together at events like tonight, this evening, and other community events, which raises awareness for important causes. The Latin root for survivor is vivere, meaning to live. I didn't take Latin, I hope I pronounced that right. We all have endured and we've overcome setbacks, all of us. The survivor's emphasis is how to continue to live fully, gracefully, and with dignity. Breast cancer has affected everyone in this room in different ways, or you wouldn't be here. Whether you have it, whether you're trying to prevent it, or whether you're supporting someone with it. A survivor is a person who continues to live in spite of opposition, trauma, or setbacks. So let me say it one more time. We are all survivors. Hopefully my story has shed some insight into the genetics associated with the BRCA genes and breast cancer. Now, armed with this information, we can all spread the word so that we can increase our chances of defeating both breast and ovarian cancer. If you're interested in doing your own at-home DNA test, if you're a nerd like me, there's a new website called Kawwproductions. It's another direct-to-consumer company that provides information on 30 different genetic markers for a nominal fee. You simply spin a test tube and send it off to the labs. It's really easy. I can't stress enough the importance of meeting with genetic counselors. I highly recommend a consult if you were to do something like this after you get your results. My hope is that in the future, hereditary testing will become more easily available to individuals in high-risk groups like mine, regardless of whether there's a family history or not. The best way for us to ensure better options and research for ourselves and future generations is for all of us to be united in our quest for research and cures. The fundraising efforts from your attendance at this amazing event tonight and other events like the Breast Cancer 2-Day Walk will benefit those affected by breast cancer for generations to come. Thank you once again for asking me to speak tonight. This has been an absolute honor.
Thank you guys again for coming. We really appreciate it. We worked really hard to put this all together, but more importantly, your support is benefiting those who really need it. Your donations are helping to find a cure for this really stubborn, undesirable disease. As all of you know, this club was started by Cecily a few years ago. It's a really creative and unique way to raise awareness and donations for breast cancer. I haven't been in it since the beginning, though. I've been on the other side. I've seen all the hard work that's put into it and the gratitude that comes from people that have experienced cancer firsthand as a result. They made such an impact on their friends and the people in their community that I decided that I wanted to get involved. I wanted to make an impact too. While we spend so much time arranging and planning the food, the tables, and the decorations, in the end it all goes towards finding this undiscovered cure. We need to live differently. Being in this club means stepping up and coming together while others may just be watching. A speaker named Lisa Bevere said that if you don't know what you're called to do, it's because you're being called to do something that's never been done before. And I think that describes this club perfectly. There are many ways to raise awareness and donations for breast cancer, but this one's more personal and more impactful. Another quote that she said was, in this world, we've taken so much information, but what we lack is transformation. If we want to make a difference, we need to act on it. We need to put in the time and the effort. We're able while others are not, because that's us who have the ability to truly make a difference. And also, we still have a way to donate. If you go to the Atlanta 2-Day Walk page, Cecily has her own page on it where you can donate. So we really appreciate if you take the time to do that.
Hi everyone, I'll be really quick. I didn't expect to get emotional, but I am. Just seeing all the courage in the room, it just really touches my soul. My mom lost her life to cancer. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer that had already metastasized to her brain and other parts of her body. So she's no longer with us, but during her life, she taught me the most valuable lesson that there is, and that's to give more than you take. And in that, I have chosen to earn my daily bread through a life of service, something that I saw in my mom her whole life. So through that, she lives forever, through me, and now through my beautiful daughter, Nia.
Yes, and with that, we would like to present the Patricia Person Award of Service in the name of my grandmother to a dear friend of mine who models the same mindset and giving, and that is Melissa.
Hi there. I think we're finishing up the program with one final award, and I was really honored to be asked to give this award. I could get emotional. It's someone I really admire. A couple of years ago, I was asked to be on the board of Student Leadership Johns Creek, and to be the liaison for Chattahoochee High School. And a couple of years later, a name came across our desk. It was Cecily Muhammad. And the most interesting thing about Cecily's application was the entire board was like, how did you know this girl? Holy cow. What has she done already? She was a freshman at that point. And I said, yeah, I do. I think she could really be a great addition to our program. I didn't know how that would turn out. Turned out great, I think, for Cecily. It's incredibly, you guys both know, it's a huge amount of work. On top of everything else you do, you're asked to just do more and more and more. And the one thing, I was trying to think today what really struck me about Cecily as a leader, and it's one of the things that I always look for in leaders. I've worked with some really good people, and Cecily could have walked in that room and run a couple programs. She'd done enough. But what she really presented was humility and the willingness to learn. And that's a real gift. I hope you hold on to that and spread that around, and I wish you everything. Good luck, sweetie. Cecily Muhammad, the April Kruger Award for Leadership. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're a true role model to me.
So that's it for the speaking part. Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Ms. Lisa Ratliff, who moved away and left me, the first year our girls decided they wanted to do this club in 6th grade, and it was kind of funny because Cecily came home and she's like, there's no cool clubs at the middle school, what should I do? And I was like, I don't know, start your own, create a movement. And she goes, I don't know if we can do breast cancer because it has the word breast in it, and they may not let us. So her and Mia wrote a letter and they got the club approved, and Lisa and I honestly are so proud of both you and Mia, Melissa, and all the girls that have joined the club, dropped out of the club throughout the years. This will be Cecily's last year doing the gala. She's a rising senior, and she's got other projects that she wants to work on. So thank you guys for being here for the last one. And we are going to turn up on the dance floor now.